Welcome, everybody. Today is March 2nd, 2017, and this is All the Leads Mastermind call number 115. Just a reminder, we are in Q&A mode, so if you have something you want to share, comments, success stories, challenges you're having, please press *6, wait a moment, and then press 1. You can go ahead and do that now, and we'll go through those, obviously, in the order they come in for the remainder of the call. We have nobody in the queue, so don't make us grovel and beg. It's just me. This is Chad Corbett, and Tim Yandel is with us today. Jim, our other partner, who usually hosts, is at his ski home in Snowshoe, West Virginia, skiing right now. So you have got us for hosts today. Tim, anything you want to cover before we get started?
Oh, I got a couple things we'll talk about, but let's see if we can I actually like to hear you grovel, so maybe we can talk somebody into asking some questions. I had a couple of things that I'd discuss about the mailing system a little bit, and I thought I'd maybe do a little bit of that, but let's see if we can get some questions, and maybe we can certainly abuse Jim in his absence. I think that's always fun.
Yeah. So we have nobody in the queue. I'll cover something. I am, as usual, done a lot of travel, and I'll be gone for the next couple of weeks in the Colombian backcountry. So Probate Mastery has been scheduled for March 20th, 22nd, and 24th are the dates. And we've had actually quite a few people sign up. If you want to go ahead and sign up for the March Probate Mastery class, you can do so. And what I've been doing is sending the recordings from the January class because that was such an interactive class. So if you don't want to wait until the 20th, you can go through the recorded sessions and then join us for the live sessions when we do have the March class on the 20th. If you aren't familiar with Probate Mastery and what we offer and kind of why that exists, you can go, if you're logged into Subscriber Portal, look on the left and under Education and Training, you can click Probate Mastery. There's a video and a course curriculum there. If you're not a subscriber, you can go to alltheleads.com, look under the Complete System, the Probate Education and Training, and find the same thing. So if you want to jump in that class, you can do that either of those two ways, and I'll have some emails going out so you can get signed up between now and the 20th.
Guys, one of the things you ought to bring up, as you may or may not know, if you've listened to these calls before, Chad's a bit of a statistics junkie, and so am I. And one of the things that we always do is we're always looking at every bit of information that we can in regard to not only, probate and leads in general and our industry in general, but we look at our business that way as well. And we look at our subscribers and we slice and dice the information that we have. And one of the most interesting things that we have found is that the folks who have taken this training course tend to be the people who are our most successful people. And we can look at the roster of past attendees in this class and track them pretty closely to some of our very most successful customers. So they're also the customers that seem to have the greatest longevity. They've been with us the longest, and obviously they're doing it because they're successful. So while this sounds like a blatant commercial for a great course, indeed, it's also just trying to let you know that the things that you learn there are not just idle information that we're trying to push on you. They really do make you the expert in probate in your marketplace. And controlling a market niche today is very, very difficult, and this is a unique one. If you can get really good at it, you're going to do really well, and we're here to help you, and Chad's course is the best way to get started with that.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't real clear on why that separate training is there. What we provide, the fast track training, is everything you need to use this system to make money. And Probate Mastery is really just refining that, mainly from a business strategy standpoint and a sales and marketing. So that's where we spend a lot of our time, is really identifying ideal clients, who your ideal client is, how you get through to them, build a referral network, and then how you handle the initial conversation and listing appointment, and really the sales side of it, where it's kind of outside of the scope of what we can do in Fast Track. So anyways, that is coming up on the 20th if anybody's interested. If you have questions about it, you can always call the main phone number at the top of the website and press the training prompt, and we can talk about it. or you can email support@alltheleads. Guys, we still have an empty queue, and we have people from all over the country. So I can see you. Somebody's got something. So I would like to hear from somebody who's maybe reluctantly gotten on the phones and had some success. I mean, we hear that weekly, not, on individual calls. We talk to a lot of folks who have said, oh my gosh, I can't believe how receptive these people are. So if you've been on the phones and something's working really well for you, this is a great place to share that so we can all benefit from it. I mean, it is a mastermind forum. And in the same breath, if you're hitting a wall and you're having challenges getting conversations started, please jump up, raise your hand. This is for the benefit of everybody. All right, so we've got 2 in the queue. Phone number ending in 4406. You are live.
Hey everybody, this is Conrad Fay. I'm pretty new to probate and to the program, and also a new subscriber as well. I just had my first mailers. I believe they're going out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Just had a quick question though. Haven't had a chance to, of course, talk to anyone yet. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I believe I'm supposed to do that after 1 week. Now, do you have a good example of a spreadsheet? I want to make sure I have everything on a spreadsheet, just to make sure, I'm have everyone's name, have, do my calls, and make sure I have everything all lined up on like an Excel spreadsheet. Do you have an example of that on the subscribers portal? Something that we can just maybe, take and, utilize?
So that was version 1.0. We found that to be the biggest choke point in our initial system, and we would give you guys a spreadsheet and teach you how to import that into a CRM or use it as a CRM. That was the biggest failure point that we found because people, it got overwhelming. So what we've done instead, when we launched the new subscriber portal, if you look in the top left when you log in, you click on My Probate Leads.
Yes.
And then that'll take you into a CRM that's laid out pretty much like a spreadsheet on the first screen. And then you kind of drill down. It's a macro to micro setup. If you ever need to export to a spreadsheet, the people you've called, all the information that you've logged, you can export, and you can do it in different ways. You can export for mailing, you can export for a dialer, and you can export all, everything. So as you prospect, I encourage you to use the CRM for prospecting because it's gonna be more orderly than using a spreadsheet. Instead of looking at 200 names, you're going to be looking at one set of information at a time. And we broke it out in such a way that you have the information for the deceased, the information for the PR, the information for the attorney and the court, and it's all very cleanly laid out in front of you. So when you're making those calls, it's easy to keep everything organized. And there's obviously notes fields, and you can rate them, you can mark them for follow-up. So it's a far better prospecting tool than just a spreadsheet alone. But that option is still there. If you find that it doesn't work for you, you can click export, and you'll have a spreadsheet in your download folder.
Wow, you know what? I'm actually looking at it now. I do see a section where you can add notes, you can track your phone calls. That's exactly what I was looking for, and I think this should definitely work out perfectly for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks so much for the question. Okay, phone number ending in 2821. You're live.
Hey, it's Bud Thompson out here in Omaha. How you guys doing?
Where have you been all of our life? We haven't heard from
Well,
you.
I've been making crappy videos, and that's about all. Okay, I thought I'd throw you a little success story. About April of last year, April's List 2016, I sent it out, made the calls, and a guy did not respond. A couple weeks later, he called me. He didn't take the call. Anyway, he asked a few questions and disappeared. I'd call him about once every month or 2 months and leave a message because he blocked me. But middle of February, he called me up, and we ended up listing this property, which was actually a duplex tenancy in common, 2 owners, one deceased, one not, et cetera, et cetera. But it was a very, very nice duplex in a very, very nice part of town, and we listed it. It appraised at $310. We listed it for $325. We had 11 offers. It went over $366 on a best and final, and we'll close it up about a week and a half from now. So it's kind of crazy that these people they'll sit and hold on to your stuff for 6, 8, 10 months, and then all of a sudden pop. I just wanted to throw that story in there. That's my little story for the day.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. So that's been my experience too. And honestly, when they finally call, it's usually come list me. And it's literally that easy. When can you get over here? Like, when can you meet with us? They've read the letter. They've usually gone online and looked at, Zillow profiles and your probate website, and they've thought about it. And in their mind, they're just not ready to do this yet, whatever emotional barrier there is. But you're the only agent that they even think of when they finally get to that. I've got a dozen stories like that where I'm like, I'm sorry, have we talked? Because they're just like ready to go as soon as I pick up the phone. And they're like, oh, no, we've never talked, but I got your letter 2 years ago. I mean, I had one that was, I think, 27 months, and it was a $200,000 house, which in a really good neighborhood, but it was a little bit dated, so it was in a $300,000 neighborhood, and we sold it for $200 in a day. Kind of the same thing. So, and it's, we had a gentleman come back after deciding to hang it up that this didn't work for him in one of the most competitive markets in the country, and a tenacious prospector. And he just came back after a few months off. And what he found is that, he worked his butt off for 2 or 3 months and nothing happened. But then after he quit, all of a sudden this business starts rolling through the door, and he starts getting really good listings from really good clients. And he came back and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So for those of you, if you have sent mail and made phone calls and you're not getting immediate results, you got to understand this is not, selling a home is always is usually an emotional thing for anybody. This is even more emotional, and some people just need time to process. So we recommend at least spreading your marketing campaign over a 3-month period. So we'll send a letter, wait 30, or make a phone call, wait 30 days, and repeat. But there's the fortune is in the follow-up. So if you can keep in touch with these folks, sometimes your old probate leads are more valuable than your current list. So that's awesome, bud. I wish I could get 11 offers on a new listing. Our market's not quite done.
On top of that, the PR likes what I do so much that I'm going to list his house next week at $650, and he wants me to find him an acreage at $650. So,
that's incredible.
There's 2 more pieces of business. I picked up 2 leads. One is a 1031 exchange, and another is a probate house. So, yeah, it just really blossomed out of one 10-month-old lead.
That's great.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks so much for sharing, bud. It was good to hear from you.
Take care, man.
One second, guys. I'm trying to find my partner Tim got kicked off, so I'm trying to find his number in the
Okay. We're learning as we go here, as always. We're moving forward. Hey,
you're back.
The thing I was going to kick around a little bit was we get several questions. They happen almost every week that someone calls in and wants to know about working with their letters and doing all the things they need to do to be successful with that. And what typically ends up happening is that they get confused about the letters themselves. And so I want to talk about it from a template standpoint. And what that means is that when you get online and you look at the letters that are available to you that we give you as samples, they're there for you to work with, edit, to do anything that you want to with them to make them yours. You certainly don't have to use them as is, and in fact, several of them have testimonials in them that are specific, to the person that created that testimonial. If you don't have a testimonial, then you certainly don't want to use that. They also talk about selling systems that one person may use that gets a specific percentage of results. Those are there as samples. You need to make sure that they fit your needs, your structure. Some of them refer to bringing cash buyers to the table. And if that's not the way you do your business, then or you don't have those people at hand immediately and you don't want to wait to get going, certainly change those letters. Now, having said that, you don't have to do all the work either. We certainly are able to help you do it and anxious to help you do it. We've got a staff of folks who will work with you at any point. So if you have any questions about your mailings and things that you need to do, whether you're doing them yourself or not, just send an email to support@alltheleads.com, and we'll be happy to work with you. The key element in this is that our system is very simple. It works very simply. It requires you to get the letters out and follow the letters up with a phone call. And if you're doing that, you'll be successful in your marketplace. It gives you the best opportunity to do that, and we're certainly here to help you get that done. That was one of the points I wanted to make. There should be no confusion about it, and if there is, certainly give us an opportunity to help you get that fixed.
All right, guys.
You still there, buddy?
I'm here.
Okay.
We have an empty queue. So anyone else, anything we can help you with, any problems you're having, success stories, please press *6 and then 1, and we will get you on the line. All right. Phone number ending in 4406. You're live.
Hey, guys. Again, this is Conrad Fay. I just had a quick question. I'm currently subscribed to just one particular county. I'm down here in Atlanta market. Now, it's so funny. A few months ago, I just put out an ad on Craigslist, and I said, if there's anyone do any probate leads, or if anyone can find probate leads in my county, which is a totally different county, give me a call. So I found this lady who was able to provide me some leads for my particular county. Now, she's also able to provide me every single thing that you guys have here, but she doesn't do it for the county that I'm subscribed for. So that's the reason why I'm definitely going to still stick with you guys for the county. But is there a way that I can, the leads that she gives me, I can send it to you guys and you guys do the mailers for me rather than me doing it myself? I mean, because it is a bit overwhelming. I mean, it's over 100-plus leads, and it does take a little time. And I just kind of want to be the one to just focus on the calls after the mail. Are you guys able to do that? I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, you have the opportunity at all times, even if you download your own list and change your list and decide you want to work with it that way, you can always upload a list back to us that we will mail for you. And it's just called a custom list, and that's built into your tool. So if you've got a list that you want us to do mailings for, you can certainly do that, and we do that frequently for people, certainly on their scrubbed list. They'll go in and scrub their list down, and they'll only want to upload back the list they want to have mailed. Some of them got in the habit before we created the CRM of doing it that way, so we left that function in there. So if you have a list, that's fine. You can do it.
Okay.
The only other point, and the only other point that I'd make to you about that is there are certainly people who can pull information for you at the courthouse, and if you can get that, good for you. That's fine. And it's one of the things that we teach is we're an information source, and so we explain to people how they can, in fact, where to get the information and all that if you choose to go do it yourself. The only thing I would suggest you might want to take a look at once you start processing those leads, we spend a great amount of time and energy and also money making sure that we give you guys the most accurate phone numbers possible. And oftentimes the data that's coming back from the court doesn't have good information and doesn't give you the information you need to contact those people by phone, and that's a critical piece of this. So as you work through that, you may find that you want to talk with us about, seeing what you can do on the county that you're getting, from the other source, and talk about whether the phone numbers are getting you what you need to get. And just keep us posted.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And
kudos to you for realizing that your time is worth more than a direct mail fulfillment. So many people I've seen over the last couple of years want to fulfill their own mail to save some money, and it ends up costing you money in the long run. And I learned from my own mistake on that. The way we do mailings and at the price that we do small batch mailings for, I don't think can be beat. It's something that we provide really out of necessity because it's such a hard thing to scale. So for anyone who's on the call, if you haven't done a 3-touch 200 person list, a 3-touch mailer, and you're thinking about that, my advice is learn from our mistakes, learn from our experience. It does get overwhelming quickly.
Well, and the other part of that is that, and I guess it's a reasonable time to make this. I mean, we will help you with any kind of mailing that you need to do. If you're doing other types of prospecting mailing and you're looking to do direct mail, certainly we want the opportunity to talk with you about that. And I think the point that Chad's making is not only do we simply, we not only help you get it done, we'll help you with the content. We'll take a look at it. We'll make sure that you look good in front of your clients. And that's really what we provide as an additional dimension, not just the kind of the lowest price guys in town. We're doing this as a service. We're not looking to get rich in the direct mail business. We created it because we really couldn't find the resources out there to recommend effectively to our client base, and so that's why we went out and created it ourselves. And we've done a pretty good job of getting that done. So if you've got mailings that you need to do, certainly just let us know, and we'll be happy to talk with you about it. And we take a very consultative approach to it. A lot of the other places that do this kind of work for you, they require you to shoot them camera-ready copy, and they'll try and get it out the door for you. But we help you create that copy, and that's, again, the last thing that you've got time to go do. You want to be spending your time talking to people who can buy and sell, and that's what you're looking for. So we try and enable you to get that done. Got anybody in the queue there, bud?
Empty queue. I don't know. It's not a lively crowd today. So guys, star 6 and then 1 to enter the queue. I do want to say if there's anyone on the call that wasn't on the role play call yesterday, the first Wednesday of every month, we do a probate role play call at 2 p.m. Eastern. And yesterday we had role play call number 17. If you weren't there, it was a really good call. We did 2 initial conversation scenarios, each with a little different spin on it. And if you're just starting, if you've just sent mail and you haven't hit the phones yet, well, regardless, even if you are on the phones, I think you can always learn from other people's language and patterns. So you can find that in a couple of different places. If you're a subscriber, log into Subscriber Portal, and on the left you click on Conference Calls, and then click Conference Call Archive, and you'll see the most recent month. You can also toggle back and forth on kind of a calendar layout and listen to previous calls. The other place, if you're not a subscriber, I know we have a lot of folks that come to these calls that are just still thinking about this. If you're part of our Facebook group, All the Leads Mastermind, I also post the calls in there. So go to Facebook, search All the Leads Mastermind. If you're not a member, you can request to join, and you can find the archived calls there. But if, just listening to some of those role plays really builds a lot of confidence and helps a lot of people get on the phone for the first time. And it's a lot different. What we teach it's a lot different than FSBO or expired, where it's the conversation's more about the real estate and what you can do as a realtor. We try to teach people to, focus more on the people and the situation and build rapport and then move toward real estate. And it'll help you really understand what their stressors are and how you can be a solution with your service. So if you weren't on the call yesterday and you haven't listened to the recorded role play calls, I encourage you to do so. Phone number, great phone number, ending in 8,000. You are live.
That's me. Hi, it's Susan. I had a question in regards to the mailing, a couple questions actually. I don't know if we should talk about it later, but the cost, do we get to proof the letter? What's the system, number of letters over what period of time? And do you make sure that no 2 agents in the same market are sending the same letters?
So let's take them one at a time. Why don't you start? They're all easily answered. If you can ask them one at a time. I was listening aggressively, but I didn't get them all, so ask away.
Cost.
They're $1.50 a letter out the door. That includes a U.S. postage stamp in the envelope of your choice. And it's $1.50 a letter out the door.
Okay. What's the system? What do you recommend? How many letters to the same individual over what period of time?
Our system is designed to start with 3 letters and be mailed out over a 3-month period, so 1 a month, followed up by a phone call, and that's generally the way our most successful folks do it. We do have people who are doing it a little bit more frequently than that. We don't have anybody who's doing it, over a bigger space. We've had a couple of people who have done the 3 letters and then have waited several months and come back and done 1 more to the other list and have gotten some really interesting results with that. That seems to be, and that's new. We've only had a couple of folks, but that seems to have worked out well. But generally, they're doing them, 3 letters over 3 months.
Okay, great. And do you make sure you're not sending the same letters from different agents in the same market?
Yes, we do. We're very, very careful about making sure that, like we said, you put your best foot forward. If you're in a market where we're aware that there's another person sending letters out, and of course all of our folks don't do it, and we don't have multiple people in every marketplace, but anytime we're aware of a potential conflict, we make certain that that's the case. The other thing that helps in terms of doing that is that every letter that we do is customized. So generally, you have your letterhead, everything. It's your letter, and right down to your signature. If that's what you want on the letter, we get that signature from you and do that, and it's fully customized. So the letters aren't going to look the same from the start. And content-wise, certainly we urge you to edit the letter and personalize it, and that helps as well. If you don't personalize it, you kind of use it as is. We're certainly going to make sure that we're being careful about it for you.
Okay, great. I would definitely personalize it, but I still don't want, to be saying the same thing almost verbatim. What's the best age?
And what I would say about that is that anytime, and I've done this for many, many years, anytime that I am using conceptually somebody else's ideas and trying to put an idea out there, there's certainly nothing wrong with you finding something that someone says and says it really well and you like it, and you can certainly change the wording of what they said, change the order of the sentence, change it. I mean, you don't want to plagiarize anybody's work, and we don't like doing that. We don't like having it done to us, but getting that concept out by changing some words around and making it strategically deliver the same point, that's kind of how we work as well. So if you need some help with that or you want to do it yourself, either way, we'll make sure that you're doing the right job.
Perfect. I would want to add my personality anyway. Great. What do you think the age, and I've been buying your leads for an embarrassingly long period of time and not calling. So I've got a ton of money invested in 2 counties, and I haven't been making the phone calls. What age of leads do you find are the best? Should I go back to a year? Should I go back 3 months? Where should I start?
Chad, you can certainly take that better than I can.
I mean, I would definitely start with your most recent month and go backwards, but I would call them all. Just like the story that Bud shared and the dozens that I have, you never know. There's so many variables in this situation that, and you have multiple family members and multiple assets, so you just never know how long it's going to take them to get in the mindset to sell. Or some families will think, well, we're just going to turn it into a rental property. We won't sell it now. And then they realize the headache of being a landlord, and they might have had a 6-month or a 12-month lease that's just coming up. So there's so many different scenarios that can come from this situation that these leads have more of a shelf life than any other lead type I've ever seen. So the best thing you can do is just call, introduce yourself as a probate specialist, and say we've helped a lot of families, and because of that we've actually gone and pulled a year's worth of probate data, and we're just reaching out to folks to see if there's any way we can help. Have you guys settled everything, or is there anything that you have questions about or we can help you with? And then ease into the real estate side of the conversation, but start to learn about the situation and whether they've completely closed out the probate. If everything's done, then you can, I think if you make all those calls, I almost guarantee you will accidentally find a listing of some sort. It might not even be a probate listing. It could be like the gentleman Bud is helping. You could help, sell a home and buy a a piece of land. We hear stories like that all the time of people uncovering multiple deals or completely unrelated to probate deals just by picking up the phone. The other thing you want to keep in mind is the average inheritance last year in the United States was just under $177,000. So you're calling somebody who very likely has, even if they have, especially if they've settled the probate, they've inherited a pretty large sum of cash. And that comes in, it could be stock portfolios, life insurance, it could be many different things, but they could be your next buyer client. They could be your next investor. You could help them build a rental portfolio, buy a vacation home. So keep that in mind when you're making the calls. Even if there's no house or the house has sold, ask good questions and see if there's any way that you can help that person. As a real estate professional, there's a lot more ways we can help than just listing houses.
And I'll add one other thing. We have people that have come to us and they're a new subscriber and they ask some interesting questions. And one of them is there any historical data available in my county? And a lot of times people who start and decide to purchase historical information in their county, they'll go back 30, 60, 90 days and put mailings out to those people specifically to, try and do exactly what Chad said. Sometimes the more seasoned probate listings are the ones that are the best because, as Chad said, they've become disenchanted with whatever they were going to go do, or, in fact, they've made some decisions about themselves from a personal standpoint that move them into being a buyer. So they're both opportunities are there, and we in fact do sell historical going back, many, many months sometimes in counties to people who want to aggressively pursue exactly what Chad said, and Bud's story is a great indication of how well that works. So certainly.
Are you guys leaving voicemail?
Yes. So for no longer than it takes, and keep your voicemail very generic. Hi, this is Susan. I sent you guys a letter a while back. I just wanted to follow up to make sure you had gotten it and you understood why we sent it. Give me a call when you have 2 minutes. And you're not Susan the realtor. You're not Susan anything else. You're not, Susan from ABC Real Estate. You're just Susan. And that leave a lot of curiosity in the air when you leave those messages. I sent you a letter. Wanted to make sure you understood why I sent it and that you got it. Give me a call. And that's what we found to be the best at producing return calls. And it's, again, voicemail is you're not going to get every one of them returned, but that's had the best result for us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
And a little bit, I'll give you a story to close with that from one of our subscribers. This was probably a year ago, but we had a girl who bought 3 months of historical data in a market where I think 3 months of data was, I think it was 95 leads, and she mailed one letter to that. No, it was 175. So she mailed one letter to 175 leads, didn't pick up the phone. She showed up on the Mastermind call just a few days later. She had 5 signed listing agreements on $300,000-ish homes. And Jim, our partner, was like, my gosh, that's amazing. Have you ever done that before? She had been licensed for like 17 days. And without a phone call, just sending one letter to a historical list, she was able to list 5 houses. The next week, she made the phone calls to the same list, and she listed 2 more. So she had $70,000 in gross commission in her first month and knew nothing about probate, had never listed a house in her career. And so that's how valuable the historical data can be. That's a pretty extreme story. If we could all do that, we would be retired by now. But it happens. So there's a lot of value in those, and it's for all different reasons. And it's really just a matter of believing in what you do, reaching out with a servant's heart, and you never know how much business you can get out of this. So.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm a prospector. I'm on the phone every morning, 8 until noon. I hit expireds really hard, so this should be right up my alley.
If you're a great expired prospector, this is going to be the easiest conversation you've ever had. They're so much more pleasant, so you'll love it.
Yeah, I've carried over 200 listings at one time. So, and I'm in an area I'm in Naples, Florida. So this is an area that we have a lot of seniors, a lot of estates. So
Perfect. Well, I look forward to
Thank
hearing
you.
your results. Once you jump on the phone, please come back and share, and go get them.
I will. It's time to do it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Susan. All right, guys. Well, that is an empty queue, and we're just about time up. One last call. Anybody has anything they want to share? All right. Well, I'll do my best at the Sullivan closing. Take one thing that you heard here today, something that was spurred a thought, and put it into action, and come back next week and share your success stories. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.